All right, let's do this.
Just relax your arm. And that cotton.
Obviously these sellout media hacks didn't get jabbed, and the first indication there is that her arm looks very pristine, unblemished, untouched.
Easy as that. And a lollipop?
There are two telltale sides in this shot here. First, the location of the band-aid, and second, the other sellout doofus is laughing his head off. Duper's delight. But I thought that band-aid needs further investigation. So I zoomed in and I picked the horizontal and vertical reference points, the horizontal being the top of her shoulder where the garment meets her skin, and the vertical is right where her armpit is. This snapshot is right where she's just about to pull away after supposedly given the jab. And when they give any jab, any vaccine, including this poison, they pinch the skin with the forefinger and the thumb. And what you're seeing just below where her arm is, that's her thumb. Because right at the start you can see her index finger is taped to her other finger. I'm not sure why, but that's definitely her thumb. So I've placed that dot pretty close to where it should be, and you can see the XY coordinates in regards to the reference points. 60 x-axis 62, y-axis 95. They're pixels. So I left the first dot where it was, and I put a second dot over where the band-aid was. And as you can see, the numbers are quite different, the XY coordinates, and even more stark, which is what made me look at this. It's quite a distance from the needle points are, they're needle points. The only way it could be that far out was if there was absolutely no indication as to where to put it. And she does it very quickly. It's not like she kind of looks and thinks, oh, there's not much blood there, where do I put it? She just says it straight on. Just for an extra graphical representation, that's back to when she was pulling out. Well, that's where the band-aid is, the second shot. Nowhere near where her hands are. And she made that not very funny lollipop joke, so she had a reason to laugh, because you can see the other sellout in the background. He can't help himself, he's laughing his head off, and she needed to let out her laugh, her duper's delight.
Roll up your sleeve for me. Stay nice and relaxed. Hold on to that car. There's a 15-minute recovery.
Now there was some heavy editing going on there, so there must have been some blatant signs that he didn't actually receive anything. You might think there was just the one cameraman there and they've done multiple takes and spliced something together, but there's actually two cameramen there. Now they switched to another camera right at this point in time on this girl, and the guy in the background, you can see that there's continuity there. They haven't cut it and then he's moved to another position. There's two cameramen there.
Easy as that. And a lollipop.
Now the continuity was only at the first switch. When they did the second switch back to the camera that was further back, he'd actually moved to a slightly different position. So they've edited out 1 or 2 seconds. But news teams only ever send one camera crew to house fires, even to protests. You don't see 2 or 3 Channel 9 camera crews, do you? Well, I haven't. Maybe other people have, but I haven't seen them. And they'll generally borrow footage off each other if they need to. They're not going to, the networks will, they're not going to send 2. So why is there 2 camera crews here? Well, obviously they decided they were just going to do the pretend jabs in one take, and they had one camera filming, possibly giving the impression they were getting it, and the other one filming absolutely nothing. And when something came up in editing that looked like, oh no, you can tell they didn't get jabbed, they just switched to the other camera. As well as those shenanigans, the most audacious thing these corporations did was advertise straight up to go and get jabbed. And this is the Channel 9 ad. I'm only going to play a little bit of it. I'm going to upload the full ad in a second video just by itself. It's quite hard to find now. Now this ad started playing, I think it was right at the start of June 2021. And I actually messed this up. I went about it the wrong way, but I looked at the legislation and it looked to me like they were in breach. You're not allowed to advertise medicines. So instead of doing a video and then doing what I would do now, go to the TGA and go, well, you need to prosecute these people. They're breaking the law. I'm putting in an official complaint. I sent an email to Channel 9, just to their general contact. And then 3 days later, Skerritt put out, the TGA boss, put out the advertising exemptions, and I never got a response back from Channel 9. So, yeah, I gave them the opportunity to fix it. Oh, by the way, though, they were still in breach. You could still lodge a complaint for that period, but they'll say mitigation was it was eventually, so they're not going to take any action against them. So obviously Channel 9 got it, their legal team got it, went straight to the government. Oh no, we've been in breach for the last 6 months, because the newspapers were doing the same thing. And then a very strange thing happened though with that. I was using the email, my personal email that I've had for a lot of years, and the one I, interface with Telstra or the electricity company and whatever. And I'd sent it from that, and I couldn't log in until I reaffirmed all my details. It just said, you need to prove who you are. So I put my password in, wouldn't work. And I had to give my phone number and my date of birth and all these, and then eventually I got back. It was only Gmail. Anyway, I thought, oh, that was a bit odd, coincidental. And then I had a strange encounter with this guy at not far from home. It was at one of the home centres. And there was a JB Hi-Fi and that in there. And I was in the car park, and this guy just, the look of him, he just didn't add up. And I pull up, and he gets there at about the same time as me. I did notice his car, but he parked probably about 5 spaces up, and there wasn't that many people there. It was during a few restrictions, but you could still go to the shops. And he yells out at me, engage with me. Where's JB Hi-Fi? Now, in that car park, there's signs everywhere to it. And he starts walking over towards me. And I thought, at the time, I thought, because some people act a bit different, you get different characters in society. I thought, he's just a bit of a character, perhaps. But when he got closer, now, what he was wearing belied what he looked like. He was just this 6 foot tall, captain of the football team, high school captain guy. He was just, from an unblemished record of staunch heterosexuality. He was very dashing, a really handsome guy, and tall, and he had all his hair, and he just looked, but he was he was wearing jeans that were a bit sort of tattered, and he had on a shirt, and it was like not that clean, and he had a bit of stubble. He was trying to portray himself as I'm from the western suburbs, that's where I'm from, and I'm trying to blend in. But if you strip that away, you're looking at some I don't know, high flying business guy or something. It just didn't add up. And he got into conversation with me about just and that's quite normal, about the restrictions and about COVID. Everyone was talking about it. Now, I'd said, as he was walking over, I said, pointed at some signs. Yeah, you just go up there, mate. Oh, right. And then he sort of, rather than walk off, he kept the conversation going. That was strange as well. But I've had people do that. I'll do that sometimes, if I'm in the mood for a bit of a chat and they look friendly enough, I'll chat to people. But yeah, it was a very, very strange encounter. I thought, if you're going to do coverts, think more about, don't send some guy. Oh, look, I'm only guessing, by the way. It just was a strange encounter. But if they just wanted to talk to me and to verify me or get my voice, who knows what they're recording. Think more about when, make sure you match the physiology with the clothes and everything. It was just very, very odd. I did have one other incident that was a bit more serious. I'll talk about this. I never talked about it at the time because I wasn't sure how deep and how much they were looking at me. But this was during the Minto, and I was going to all of the court hearings. And, I had a conversation with a cop who pulled me aside there. And, it wasn't that pleasant. So I'll talk about that in another one. And it was, it was right at the pointy end of, it wasn't in initial stages, it was starting to get serious then, and they didn't want me there. Anyway, so that's it for this one. I'll just play a bit of that ad. 10 minutes, no one's here by now.
COVID has affected each and every one of us, but now we have a shot to get our lives back to normal.
This is our shot to protect our communities.
This is our shot to keep our borders open.